Okay, before I even start, I have to just kind of say a quick thank you. We actually hit 6K a lot earlier than I expected, and I feel the growth is only going to continue because of this series, and the input you guys give for me is just fantastic. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I am kind of seeing a pattern with these videos here. You see, when we look at older heroes in this series, we tend to look at them with more respect and dignity, but when we look at the heroes with the later releases, we tend to disrespect them more as they garnish more and more hate. Today's topic truly is no exception. AFEERA. She is one of those heroes that I did and truly want to stick up for and play her for longer than 8 reps, but slowly after day 1 my eyes started to open up on what type of hero I was truly playing. AFEERA has been the subject of many nerfs, including her feats, and don't worry, we'll get to talking about that one later. There are many reasons this hero is absolutely hated by majority of the community, and the only other clip I posted about AFEERA got so much hate I just tend to avoid playing her at the risk of losing all these subs I've gained. See, AFEERA on day 1 and AFEERA now are almost the exact same hero, but more like a dull razor. AFEERA is another subject of For Honor, giving heroes more tools than the already existing heroes, making them definitely feel pay to win for the first week they come out. Now, obviously, nothing in For Honor is pay to win, I just want to say that, because everything can and will be earned for free, and I don't think we really do appreciate that enough. She was also subject of heroes getting almost no customization whatsoever, getting what was basically 1 to 2 armor sets per rep, and sometimes just being an alternate set of the armor, aka the same armor but with something removed or added. I speak for everyone saying that this was and still is lazy and has affected every hero to release after her. I would have played more Varangian Guard if A, she wasn't brain dead, and if B, she had more armor variants. I hate grinding an entire rep to get 1 new armor set and then nothing at all. Less about fashion and more about balance, and with AFEERA, there wasn't very much of that on release. See, she was one of the 3 heroes that had crushing counters without a full block, and the only other heroes that had that privilege was Warden, but you know, his is ass and only comes from one direction, and Highlander before his rework, so those were basically free parries to anyone with their fucking eyes open. But what she also had, which was, you know, a cut above everyone else, was she had in-chain crushing counters. Let me solemnly remind you that the only other hero to have the privilege of mid-chain crushing counters is Varangian Guard. This was a small root of frustration because mid-chain crushing counters are what I like to call mistake fixers. Surely you can definitely do them on purpose, but most of the time people are just tossing out random lights and then miraculously crushing countering people. Regardless with her dodge cancels and recoveries, it seems like her turn just kinda truly never ended. The second thing that really annoyed people were her dodge cancel recoveries, and it seemed like yet again I found a pattern. The hero who doesn't have a dodge recovery cancel, people can see them as respectable, but when they do have dodge recoveries, it cancels out the community and makes them hate them. Yes, dodge recoveries are really satisfying to pull off, and when you do them on purpose, yet again, it's really fun, but yet again, dodge cancel recoveries is like one of those big erasers for big mistakes, because most of the time it just saves you from a horrible read you made, even though you made it wrong. See, AFEERA's dodge cancels are probably the least annoying out of all the dodge cancels because A, it really doesn't take her very far, she cannot deflect / superior block on her dodge recoveries, and like every other hero with dodge recoveries, her iframes are not actually that strong. So in my eyes, her dodge recoveries is how everyone should be. Now truly the thing I cannot wrap my head around is what genuinely annoys more people, her mix-ups or her feats, because both of them are so goddamn annoying I cannot fathom putting one in front of the other. Let's start off with her overall moveset and why people just don't like her. Her bash is one of the only neutral bashes left in the game besides Shigoki and Gladiator. Every other hero has to input some sort of dodge forward bash, and hers is also feintable. But her bash truly isn't something I would tend to complain about, seeing as, you know, it's just, you know, 50-50. See, my source of complaints are definitely her mid-chain usage. There is one word I would describe Ubisoft, and it is lazy. And AFEERA was a victim of Ubisoft's laziness when it came to her moveset, suffering from the overall strong mix-up of mid-chain bash or mid-chain undodgeable. Shaolin, Blackbriar, AFEERA are just some of the examples of mid-chain bash, dodge, 50-50 mix-ups. It makes it feel like Ubisoft is just kind of just hitting the copy-paste button when it comes to her mid-chains. The second thing people truly do hate about AFEERA is her guaranteed bash after heavy parry, and I'll be the first to admit that her bash punches are really cool. Top is an unblockable, you could use the target swap, right side's an unblockable, use the hit externals, and full target swap, but the one everyone tends to have a problem with is her left heavy after bash. See, her left heavy has a property to wall splat, and the initial heavy already does 10 damage. Now I can already hear you. Well, the wall splat is situational, so you're not always gonna get it. Yeah, it's a shame that a bash that already pushes you closer to where AFEERA wants you, and B, the map design looks like this, or this. What about this? Point is, 80% of the time you are close enough to get wall splat. See, this is one of the first heroes where AFEERA not only terrorized in duels, but also Dominion for a very long time, and well, she still does. But her cloud has kind of fallen a bit because of her constant damage nerfs Ubisoft keeps throwing at her. Speaking of damage nerfs, AFEERA had her first and her third feat nerfed with damage and cooldown departments, but these nerfs alone did not stop AFEERA's feats from being absolutely despised by everyone. See, it was never actually the damage that everyone had a problem with, even though it really did help them. It was the fundamentals of these feats that truly annoyed everyone. Before these feats were nerfed, they were allowed to be chained together. So what people would do is use their first feat, and the moment they got back up, third feat would be popped, and this did almost about half the opponent's health. People still do get caught by this even to this day, even though it's not confirmed, because sometimes it may feel confirmed if the AFEERA has high ping, or they just were not paying that close enough attention. The other thing that people really do hate about this is that the fact that an AFEERA would basically use their entire stamina bar, beating you down to the fact of critical health, and then while out of stamina, would throw these feats at you like they throw money at Twitch thoughts. And lastly, they are knockdown feats, aka if you're on low health, the AFEERA is going to throw you on the ground, and then boom, her team is going to beat you to death, like how I beat. You know, I don't think I'm going to continue that one. AFEERA, like almost all Outlanders, feels like a cheap hero that can win with minimum effort compared to other heroes in the roster. Now, before I say this next part, I'd like to say I have met a nice handful of people that play AFEERA that aren't assholes, but it was mentioned in the Orochi video that many Orochi players are toxic and full of themselves, normally being the first team at spam over bodies even though they did nothing. This is true, and I think AFEERA players are guilty of doing this too. See, I truly do hate talking about the players themselves when it comes to these heroes, but it's also a focal point of a hero and why people hate them. Also saying that there is no dedicated AFEERA YouTuber, the community holds the mantle of how people look at AFEERA, and when many of them are constantly being toxic, it's no surprise that the average For Honor player will resort to calling all AFEERA players toxic. I just want to say again, thank you guys for all the continued support on these videos and the series. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.